faith, love, openness, willingness. Shop Rev Skip becomes the Awake Shop. Inspiration you can wear. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, and mugs. Head over to the Awake Shop now. awakeshop.org. Faith, love, openness, willingness. You're in the flow with Rev Skip. Hey family, it's your boy Rev Skip, and welcome to another episode of In the Flow with Rev Skip. And I'm very excited about this episode. I have a dynamic person, guest that's going to come on that's going to wow you. And every time I talk to this person, it's so exciting. So I'm excited about this episode, and I'm excited about being here on the New Thought Media Network, my family, where we get to broadcast the good news that God is everywhere present, that we are one in spirit, and life is worth living. So grateful to be a part of this family, and I don't do this alone, so I got to bring in my boy. Hey, come on in, Diego. Hello, brother.
Well, good morning, Godling. How are you today?
I'm good. I've been going through a little something. I had a couple of deaths in my life, and it was kind of going through a dark night of the soul this week. So I taught on it this morning in my live events that I do every Friday morning. I taught on the dark night of the soul, but other than that, I'm good. You know what? 4th of July was like Beirut around here. It was like, boom,
I
boom,
can
boom,
relate.
boom.
Yep.
Fireworks were off the chain. And I just, I don't know. How was it in Colorado for you guys?
It was, it's kind of the same. I'm comparing it with last year. And last year, it seemed like it was a little less out there than it was last year. I think we'd all been locked down for several months, so people were shooting off the fireworks day and night for at least a week before and several days after 4th of July.
Right.
Today it was, or this year it was all pretty much on the 4th of July, so something's changing.
I got no sleep. I got to say, it was 3 days of just like, wow. But
the pets the pets are petrified on 4th of July.
Wait, now do you have a pet pig?
I do have a pet pig, Winston Churchill.
That's right. That's right. How did Winston do with the fireworks?
Winston stayed downstairs sleeping.
Really? You slept through it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. So awesome. So how is the weather? Is it hot there, muggy? What's happening in Colorado?
It's been really nice this last week. The past couple of days, we've gotten up into triple digits, so it's getting hot again.
Yeah.
So Colorado, how we...
That's that little movement there.
We're up and down.
I'm going to have to do a road trip. I'm going to have to get in the car and drive from California.
You're more than welcome. You've got a place to stay here in Colorado if you ever come out.
Thank you. I definitely
over this
need to
last
do that.
weekend, 4th of July, I got a great visit from one of my out of town friends, Kat Dawes. If anybody out there knows Kat Dawes,
we know Kat Dawes
of Nowism. She actually came out and visited me and the family here for 4th of July, and She got to meet Winston Churchill. I got some videos posted on my Facebook page if anybody wants to take a look.
And can we go ahead and announce Cat Dolls will be with us on the first Friday of August.
Oh,
thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother, for getting her down on that one. That's another interview I'm going to really look forward to.
Definitely.
Talking.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so much to get ready for, and summer's going well.
Oh, excellent! I've got a great show that I've been producing in the flow. That's just going really smoothly. I'm really happy with the way things are turning out.
I love you, brother.
We got great guests all the time. Today is no exception. I'm so excited to see this old friend of mine. I haven't seen Preston in a few years, so this will. It's
going to be an awesome experience. So, but thank you so much for the work that you do, and let's not forget to tune into your show, Spirits That Sing, tomorrow at
Saturdays at 6.
Saturday at 6.
That's right. Or 5 Pacific time. That's correct.
That's it. So depending where you are, Spirits That Sings right here on the New Thought Media Network. Brother, I love you and thank you so much for the work you do. Blessings.
Thank you for everything, Rev.
All right. And everyone, it's now time for... Wellness Wake Up with Rev Skip. And our Wellness Wake Up for today is something that I've been studying and teaching for a long time, and something that we think about wellness with the body temple, but there's also different areas of wellness that we can really begin to adapt in our life. There's financial wellness, there's social wellness, there is educational wellness or mental wellness. This is spiritual wellness. Let me put up this meme for you here. And spiritual wellness is this. Spiritual wellness is find meaning in your life events, demonstrate individual purpose, and live a life that reflects your values and your beliefs. Part of the work with and learning and developing your spiritual wellness is really understanding what is it you truly believe. Establishing your belief system is about spiritual wellness. One of the things that I get to experience with clients, having one-on-one clients, is really asking them, well, what do you truly believe about God? What do you truly believe about love? What do you truly believe about relationships? And as we grow and our beliefs get, more expansive, we grow along with our beliefs. As I'm going through a little bit of a dark night of the soul, I want to give a shout out to a very close friend of mine who made her transition, Peggy Zimmerman. And she was more than just a friend. She was also a mentor. She's a spiritual leader, a spiritual practitioner at Agape International Spiritual Center. She really touched my life at a very, very dark time. And she helped me to see the light that was within myself. I got a chance to work with Peggy Zimmerman throughout about 2 years with the Path to Freedom, our freedom ministry, and she really touched my life. So it really, really triggered me this week. But my belief was very strong. God is there no matter how much what I'm feeling. God is there no matter what, and I truly believe that even when I felt that I didn't, or I felt differently, but my belief system was so strong. So I prayed, I meditated, I did the work around that. So that is spiritual wellness for you. This week, I really want you to tap into that. What is your belief system? What is your values? What do you deem to be valued in your life? So let's develop our spiritual wellness this week. All right, our next thing we're going to go into is our the quotable ponder. That is the sounds of the pages turning, which I love. Our quotable ponder today comes from Malcolm X. And of course, this month is about freedom. We're talking about freedom and how to have freedom. And what I shared on 4th of July on my Instagram and my Facebook was, I don't really celebrate the independence of America for that time. It was not for everyone, but I do celebrate spiritual liberation and divine independence. And I love what Malcolm X, this is a great quote from Malcolm X, and it says this: you can't separate peace from freedom because no one can be at peace unless he has his freedom. So I'm pondering this quote here, and I'm thinking, well, the outside of me and seeing everything that's happening around me doesn't really necessarily say that I'm completely free. But where does that consciousness of freedom actually lives? Within myself. And everything that I see that says that I'm less than because of the color of skin I am, or I'm less than because of who I love, I have to throw that away. And I have to go within, and I have to continue to connect with what it means to be free within myself. Is releasing those lies, releasing those things that no longer serve me, and not buying into what America or the media would tell me is freedom. So I'm inviting you this month to really study and to get deep into your own spiritual liberation and your own spiritual freedom. That is the path of self-realization. So as we celebrate Freedom Month, find your own independence. All right, y'all, let's get down with it. I am very, very excited for our guests. Let me tell you a little bit about Preston. I'm going to read the bio, but I always love the conversation that we can get deep and really find out about this brother. His bio says this: unapologetically himself, Preston Smiles is the epitome of someone who's committed to the work and humanity. As a personal freedom coach, a multi-millionaire conscious businessman, father, husband, experimental speaker, and the author of Love Louder, 33 Ways to Amplify Your Life, Preston Smiles is a force to be reckoned with on the personal growth scene. I am so grateful to have this brother. We're going to bring him into the mix right now. Hey, Preston, how are you, my friend?
Blessings and blessings. I am extremely excited to be in this deep dive and this conversation with you, especially because you hold such a powerful container. And during a time where I needed support and I needed somebody to have my back, you were there for me. So let's get it.
Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. What we say here, we're going to get down with the get down. Hey, Preston, thank you so much for doing this. And what I really want to, I always start this conversation. How you been, man? And how you been living through this incredible reset, also known as the pandemic, the COVID reset? How you been getting down, brother?
Yes. I mean, that's a loaded question, right?
Yeah.
The question is, what content am I going to pull from?
And wherever you want to go with this,
exactly.
I'm riding with you.
I've been experiencing high levels of gratitude, abundance. I've been stretched in ways I didn't know were possible. I've been at my edge as it pertains to sleep and the 3 children plus the one that's on the way. I've been
wow, congratulations.
learning and growing nonstop. It's been a beautiful, tragic, epic adventure that I am constantly rewriting and reclaiming when my wounded ego comes in and tries to tell me that I'm a victim to something out there.
I love that. And you got up and you moved out of LA. And when you said to me, Brother Skip, I'm going to move in to Texas, I was like, okay. Something in me was like, he's moving now during this time that we're going through. But then my spirit saying, but he's good. He's going to be all right. How's that move going on, brother?
The move has been amazing. Nothing short of miraculous. What we're doing here in Austin, Texas is absolutely ridiculous. It actually feels like a vortex, sort of how like a lot of people are called to, let's call it Bali or Sedona or certain places in the world. There is a gigantic force of powerful people moving here every single day, and we are all coming together, actually meeting up belly to belly, heart to heart, and communing in joy and presence and love. And it's been amazing. I haven't had friends, like in-person friends like this for 25 years. And wow. It's been my version of church. I've been getting, really learning a lot and growing through having because Austin in particular is set up where it's lifestyle first, business and everything else second. And so there's just a lot of lifestyle stuff that has to say, well, you do want to go wake surfing.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from doing that? I know you're
Wow.
used to working all the time in LA, but what about play? What about like experiencing dinner? Like I've gone out to 1,000 restaurants here, and I didn't do that at all in LA. So it's just little things like that.
I love that. I know for a fact that Spirit's saying, yes, you're going to move one day. You're not going to in your life here in LA, and I don't know where. And the friends of mine I've said that to said, you need to check out Austin. And I got to tell you something, brother. I'm going to be real honest with you. I was like, but that's in Texas, y'all. I don't know if I could be going to Texas now. And I could be really honest with you, brother. Yes. That's what came to mind the first time.
I hear you, man. And I have that same experience, although, you know, I think it was Shakespeare that said, what's in a name? Speaking about a rose.
Yes.
And Austin's slogan, tagline in the airport when you get off is keep Austin weird. And that by itself tells me everything I need to know about this particular city and the consciousness from which it operates from, right? It's music, food, nature, openness. It is they call it the blueberry. So it's this blue city inside of this quote unquote red state. And so it's a little bit of everything, man. And of course, everywhere we go, we're going to run into at some level, some ignorant ass person that needs to be reminded of the truth of who and what we are. However, I have experienced zero of what I assumed may come by living in Texas.
Dude, you're already dropping some spiritual knowledge right here. Nuggets all over the place. Thank you for sharing that. You know, we like to get down with the get down. I always say here, who are you, brother? Who are you?
Yes. Short answer, isness dancing.
Dancing. Wow.
Yeah, long answer, but still short, is I'm still discovering. I'm still in the question of that. You know, I don't know if I have an answer, but I am answering by way of each breath that I take. And the game for me is just constantly putting down the sword of righteousness and humbling myself and emptying myself so that isness can actually do its thing. Because I sometimes, a lot of the times, become so locked into the idea about who I am and who you are and what this is and what that isn't, that there's no space for growth. There's no space for creativity. There's no space for harmony. And so I just keep creating space.
So what I hear you saying is that you are discarding everything that no longer works into your higher vision. How's that process for you? What do you do on a daily basis to discard that no longer serves you? What is your spiritual practice like, brother?
Yes. Previous to our working together, 9 years ago, I joined Reverend Nirvana in the beginnings of a practitionership. And in one of those classes, I think it was the power of prayer or the power of your word or one of those, we were reading Science of Mind. And there was a line in the book that changed and transformed my entire life. And it still does to this day. And the line was to get your questions answered and your answers questioned. And that level of, because as we know, if you type into Google, why am I so fat? Google will come up with some answers. And it's the same thing, because in my opinion, the omnipresence that we swim in is always saying yes. So if I ask a disempowering question, the omnipresence is going to give me a disempowering answer. And so the issue that myself and many of us have been having is we ask the wrong questions. And even when and I won't say wrong, we ask questions and get answers, but we never question the answer, right? We never question the filter from which the answer came from. And so my daily practice is catching what has become an of course and finding out if it's actually an of course or just something that's been patterned into my consciousness based on film and television and all the wounds and traumas and shame, internalized toxic shame that I've taken on as a child.
Yes, yes. Wow. Again, I hope you're all having some journals out there. I hope you're listening to this, taking some notes. And in your book, Now or Never, which I love the statement that you write here, is awareness is truly the key to all transformation, because it's where we must start in order to then choose the best course for our lives. And this is part of your message, has been for a long time. If y'all don't have Now and Never, get that book, y'all. It is really dope. Speak a little bit about the awareness that you have received about yourself.
Yeah. So just as a reminder, and I'll say this differently, we can't intervene in a world we cannot see.
Okay.
And each and every one of us is a world. So for instance, let's take finances, for example. Change your understanding, you change your income. I changed my understanding around finances. I stopped demonizing money, and therefore my understanding of money and all things on this planet shifted to some degree, and my income followed that understanding. And so each of us is a world, can't intervene in a world you can't see. So asking oneself, what social and historical programming have I received and been receiving?
Yes.
In subtle and not so subtle ways? What has that, first of all, what is it? Right. And so when I scan down, money is the root of all evil, women are crazy, X, Y, and Z, Asians can't drive, Black people are aggressive and lazy, X, Y, and Z. Like we could go down the line. You got to work hard to make money. Like go down the line. All of that stuff. A real man has muscles. A real man never cries. All the things, right? When I go down that list and begin to disassociate, begin to separate myself so that I can elevate, right? Elevation requires separation. Can't elevate without separating. So I'm separating from the mental constructs that I was born into. And every time I separate from one of those things, I create what they call in real estate, location. I create all kinds of space for isness to come through and say, here's what's next for you.
Yeah. It's subconscious as well. It's on a deep rooted level. And when I start this work, I can say what really was the catalyst for me to go deeper in, and I was already a minister when we saw George Floyd murdered. That was the catalyst for me to go deep in saying, what homophobic beliefs am I holding for myself, and what self-hatred because I'm Black am I holding for myself? And I went and I had that whole list that you just said. These are the things that I might not have ever said, but dude, it was so deep into my subconscious, and it would start to come up. The murder of George Floyd brought up so much stuff within me where I really truly know what we say, that everything is working for our highest good. Of course, I do not want the death of any brother for me to have a transformation, but it happened and I had the transformation of that.
So much church in here. Thank you for sharing that. It also brought up, what brought up George Floyd? Yes. But Ahmaud Arbery.
Yes.
That one got me. Seeing him running for his life and then them jumping out of that car and murdering that beautiful, beautiful Black man. That hurt me real hard. And it reminded I think all of us, especially those of us who've been blessed with this melanin skin, it reminded me of my mortality. I think there was a part of me that was like, oh, I can still get caught. And I was speaking to this kid. I had a party the other day for 4th of July, and there's this young 34-year-old gentleman who is, and I remember being in this position, and I'm not trying to create hierarchy here, but I remember being 34 and thinking I knew everything, right? And then he was trying to tell me, he was asking me some questions, and I was sharing honestly, right? Because that's what I do, right? I don't put myself on a pedestal, because I believe that all of us are, reflections of God. And so I was sharing honestly about, where I was in my process, and he was like, "Oh, you just need to forgive." right? And he was trying to teach me, like, oh, if you just forgive and accept, then it'll be over. And I was like, okay, are you open to some feedback? Are you open to a possibility of that? And you're not wrong. However, what I've come to take note of is that life doesn't have borders on it, and it will always give us new content.
Yes.
Right? So yes, I can forgive and accept in that moment, and 4 seconds later, somebody can come and punch me in the face, or call me a nigger, or do whatever they can, and my biology, all of it will come right back into play.
It happens all the time. It happens it's not a linear experience. If I can tell any of my clients this, or tell anything this life is not linear. So just because you've gotten here doesn't mean you're going to be there. I can be in victim consciousness 1 minute and be in the awareness that God is all that there is. And then I can flow right back to victimhood because I watched something on TV and I heard something, I'm going, what? And lose my spiritual mind.
Yes.
You know.
More, yes. That is it. That is pure fire right there, Skip. That is so much truth. And here's the tricky thing about just people like us and how some people on the outside perceive. Like, oh, you're a minister? Now you must be, right? You're always a There's no space for Skip to be human. You must have all the right answers. I could call you a nigger and it shouldn't mean anything because you're a reverend. Like, and I'm not going to curse here, but get the F out of here with that. Like, there's I can, just like my children, right? And this is why they're the greatest teachers, right? I have 1-year-old twins, a 3-year-old, and a little baby boy on the way. And these kids teach me so much because in a matter of 20 seconds, they will be between joy, anger, sadness, and then right back to expressive joy. And it just reminds me that, to play the game of hot potato. I used to play that when I was a kid, right?
Me too, brother.
Just keep,
keep it going, keep it moving,
dropping it. Yes. And all of it is welcomed, right? That's the issue, I think, especially in the spiritual community, is we think that we have to say namaste and put our hand on our hearts.
Hey, now.
I'm only this now, and I can only speak at this tone because I'm now spiritual. And I say that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. That's another dogma, another thing that you've locked into as a way to wear a uniform of look at me now. And like, nothing wrong with that if that's actually your truth. But we are dynamic beings, and we get to express that.
And on that same note, I want to still continue on this conversation of what you were talking about, where we should be. That happens within ourselves. I know I was beating myself up, having these feelings in being a minister going, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. It wasn't until I got real with myself saying, hold up, I'm supposed to have these for the highest good of my development. And what am I to learn from this, and what qualities emerging through this, and not do what we call a spiritual bypass, but go deep, get into the dark night, cry, scream, get into the garage, and allow God to have its way with you.
So much.
That's what we're talking about. We're also talking about a spiritual awakening. And I've heard your story before, but if you can just give me a little bit of your story, which I love how you woke up, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's layers and levels to it, but I will start with, at a very early age, I was placed in special education.
That's right.
And in the 80s, they weren't so keen on reminding, especially little boys who look like me, that we were geniuses, but we just didn't have standardized brains, right? There's standardized tests and standardized brains, and my brain didn't work like that. And so instead of celebrating my genius, they threw me in a class with 4 mentally ill children. And I made up a story about myself, that I was dumb, that I was stupid, that I was less than, that I was unworthy. That I was somehow the broken child, and that my sister was the smart one, and so were all my friends. And so that set the tone for internalized toxic shame, which by definition means that I believed some part of me was broken and wrong, and I was a mistake in some form or fashion. And so that set the tone for a pretty epic and tumultuous life, where at one point I was in what you could call a gang, doing some really silly things. And my father at 11 years old caught me smoking weed, and he sat me down and he said something that didn't ring true. It didn't hit until I was 15. And so I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to jump 2 places for you guys to really get this understanding. At 11 years old, he caught me smoking weed. He sat me down. He sent all my friends away. He sat me down and he said, all right, let's talk. And I'm 11. And he said, I want you to think about everybody you know who smokes weed. And he said, me included. And he said, I don't want you, what did he say? He said something to the effect of, I'm not going to demonize it, but I want to ask you, do you want their life? Because if you do what they do, you're going to get what they got. And I went to answer and he said, no, I want you to think about it for 24 hours and we'll talk tomorrow. And so the whole time I'm thinking about it, and I'm also thinking, he going to whoop me. I'm going to get in trouble. Like, I'm about to get he going to whoop me with a belt. Like, this is coming, right? And I'm like, all right, here it comes. And so we sit down and he says, okay, so what'd you learn? And I said, oh, I thought about, some of the boys on the corner, and I thought about, some of my uncles and people. And yeah, I want to be a basketball player. And he said, oh, okay. He said, do basketball players smoke a bunch of weed? And I said, oh, no, they don't. He said, okay, cool. He said, I want you to know something, son. I said, okay. And I'll never forget this. He put his hand on my shoulder and he looked me dead in my eyes and he said, you're a leader. And you're such a leader that if everybody is going left, but something in your heart says, I need to go right, you will do it no matter what.
Wow.
He said, I know you're going to be a boy and I know you're going to do dumb things, but there's a leadership quality in you that makes you powerful and strong. This dude poured life into my 11-year-old soul. Fast forward to 15 years old, my friend, best friend calls me, Scott, yo, you coming out tonight? Every other night I was in this blue Astro van, drinking alcohol, throwing rocks, doing stupid kid stuff. Scott calls, he says, yo, you coming out? My heart, literally, some version of intuition kicked in and it said, don't go. Don't go. I didn't understand it, but in that moment, my dad's voice popped into my head. You're a leader. And if everybody else is going left, but something in you says you need to go right, you go right.
Yes.
So I said, nah, man, I'm going to chill. He was like, what? Don't be a little beep. So I was like, no, I'm going to be a beep tonight. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Scott hung up the phone. Within 1 hour, every single friend in that blue Astro van that I was in, the night before that, and the night before that, and the night before that, every one of them was shot. And Scott was shot in the head and died an hour after our conversation. For me, this was outside of the survivor's guilt that I experienced. This was a huge opening and catalyst for me to understand there was more happening than I could cognize. Something was guiding me. Something was guarding me. Something took over and said, don't go. And from that point forward, that voice, I've been listening to that voice ever since. That voice, that still small voice, has led me all over this planet. It has helped me be in situations where other people were dying and they needed somebody there to pray over them, to hold them. It has led me to my wife. It has led me to multi-million-dollar career out of nothing. It has led me, let me tell you, I'm going to get real here. I was at a meeting. At a meeting. And it's good to know this, guys. I was at a meeting because everybody wants a book deal, but my book deal with Simon & Schuster came like this. I was at a meeting. And I walked into, it's called ATL, Association of Transformational Leaders. Jack Canfield started it. I was there. I walked into the lunch sort of room. All the epic spiritual people, even the Rev, all these people are a part of this thing, right? And they're all sitting, eating together. And I got there a little bit late. And I walked in and first my ego came up. Oh, there's no seats for me, right? Oh, I'm not as popular as them. Oh, so-and-so won't want to sit with me. And all my stuff came up. And then I saw a guy in the back by himself. And I came right back to source. What is your truth? Your truth is you're here to serve. Your truth is that you are placed on this planet and you were entrusted with the wounds. Hear that. You were entrusted with the wounds because you have a spirit inside of you that understands the underdog. There is an empathy, a compassion that you have inside of you because you've been to the bottom. And so you see that guy back there by himself, go talk to him. I went and sat down next to this man and I loved on him and I talked to him. I had no agenda. I wasn't trying to get something from him. I was trying to share. I was communing with another one of God's beautiful children. And so we're having this conversation and the man asked me, hey, how are you here? I said, I started this thing called the LoveMob and I do all these things to bring awareness to love. And he said, oh, it's amazing. He said, what else are you up to? I said, I wrote a book that I'm in process of called Love Louder. He said, oh, that's amazing, right? Nothing. He says, at the end, he says, Preston, can I get your email? Sure. Nothing. He says nothing. 3 days later, I get an email. The title is Simon & Schuster. This dude put me in a message with one of the biggest publishers in the world. Yeah. And he said, hey, I met this young guy who I believe would be a really good fit for you guys. He's absolutely amazing. You guys take it from here. Within, let's call it 15 days, I had a 6-figure book deal. Beautiful. 6-figure book deal within and where did that come from? I didn't make that happen. Yeah. I welcomed that. Right.
Very powerful story. In this, I love you're talking. What I'm hearing is a lot of grace, a lot of allowing. You allowed this to happen. And one of the things I love about you talk about amplifying your presence.
Yes.
And to amplify your presence, and Diego, can we bring up the website for Preston? Amplify your presence. Talk a little bit about that. And I think you've already have, but how can we amplify our presence today? What can we do right now?
Yeah, I mean, as we know, spirit can only do for us what it can do through us.
Hey.
And so the game is to remember who and what we are and what we come from, and to give that gift. There's something so powerful and so magical when you stop being sort of drug around by the stories about who and what you aren't, and just look for ways to bless other people. Right. And there's a quote from the Gnostic Gospels of Thomas that reads, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. That, for me, you want to amplify your life, you want to amplify everything, bring forth what is within you.
What I love, I'm laughing here because I'm recognizing this, and also I always tell people, there's more gospels than Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You got to get down with the get down. You got to go deep in the ones that people did not want us to hear or did not want us to read. There is the Gospel of Mary, the Gospel of Thomas. There is so many Gnostic gospels. Thank you for bringing that up. We're in our yes moment, and yes is an acronym we use here at the show called You Expressing Spirit. And the last few guests I've been on, I always kind of chuckle within myself going, well, these people have already been expressing spirit, but this is the time where I get to pull back, and I want you to, from your heart, to motivate our listeners who might be listening to the podcast, or our viewers is right here. You expressing spirit. Everyone, this is our brother, Preston Smiles. Preston?
I mean, from where I sit, I've been expressing spirit. That's However, right. I will. I'll tune in a little bit more and just see what wants to come forward. What I know to be true is that each and every one of us has medicine on our hearts that only we can give, and it is our divine curriculum. It is our divine calling for us to give that medicine as much as we possibly can and spread it everywhere we can. For those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. God, Buddha, Krishna, Allah, Jesus, source, divine intelligence, whatever you want to call that thing, can only do for you what it can do through you. When we tap in and remember that just like the rainbow, we look at the rainbow and we say, oh my God, it's so beautiful. We look at the puppy and we say, oh, look how cute it is. We look at the giggle and experience the giggle of a beautiful little baby and we say, oh, my heart. Just like all of those things can be perceived as beautiful and amazing and magnificent, so are you. Remember who you are. Remember what you come from. God is always, in all ways, speaking to, through, and as each and every one of us. God is here right now, and it is saying yes, yes, and thank you, yes, and thank you. Yes, I receive, and thank you for my marching orders. Yes, I appreciate what you've given and what you're doing behind the scenes. Ooh, because I can't figure it all out with this cognitive thing called my brain. There's something bigger here happening, and all I have to do is trust that it's emerging from me at all times. I can't be off path. I can't be off purpose, because my maker has got it all figured out.
Yes.
As Martin Luther King said, this is how I'll end it here. As Martin Luther King said, I don't have to know. I just have to know the knower.
Powerful.
That's happening right here.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Spiritual mic drop. That was it, y'all. I hope you got your notes in. Thank you so much, brother. Listen, I know you have a very busy schedule, so I'm going to let you get out of here. But before you go, I want to bring up your follow. How can people get in contact with you, Preston? And if y'all looking for a coach, he's the one. So how can they connect with you, Preston?
Yeah, at Preston Smiles on Instagram, YouTube, but really go to prestonsmiles.com because I got some really amazing things that I only release through there. I have an amazing program where I help coaches, healers, light workers, people like that build coaching businesses and practices where they can actually make money and lean on that. And I also have a program where I help people get free in ways that they didn't know were possible.
Thank you, my brother. And I know you're about to actually go on your own coaching experience. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And until we meet again, brother, thank you so much. Thank you for what you do and who you are.
So beautiful. Thank you, Skip.
All right. Hey, everyone. That was Preston Smiles. And thank you so much for being here today, experiencing this with me. Remember that you can follow me at Rev Skip Jennings. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook and on Twitter. And also that you can actually take me home and not cook me breakfast. Go to my website, skipjennings.com. Find out more about the Little Book for Big Transformation. Find out about my spiritual app. Find out where I do work for Insight Timer and also my other podcast that I do on Unity Online Radio with Reverend Jackie Fernandez and Faith Rivera, Emmy Award winning singer-songwriter. We do a podcast every week called Voices of Unity. So I want you to jump over to get the information. Also, if you're watching this on Facebook, and you want to listen to this in your car, we're available now on wherever you get your podcasts. We're there. So we're on Apple Pod. We're now on Google Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're everywhere. So you can get your inspiration from Preston once again. That's it. If you want to donate, please donate to us at New Thought Media Network. We donate to keep this energy and this life going here. What we do on this network takes a lot of people. So we want to keep Diego employed here. We want to keep, this ministry alive. We want Rev Briz to get a little cash in for what he does. So please give to our ministry. We go to ntmedia.org. Did I do that right? /donate. Thank you, Diego. And then if you want to give to me and my ministry, I'm on Venmo and PayPal, and that's at skipjennings.com. You can find me there. You can donate to my ministry. And don't forget to head over to awakeshop.com. where you can get all your t-shirts, your hats, and inspiration that you can wear. And you have coffee cups. I don't have my coffee cup today, but we have coffee cups and water bottles now, and a lot more to come throughout the summer. So look for that more information there. And that's it. This has been a very powerful show, and I hope you got a lot out of it. I am so grateful that you said yes today to being here with me. And remember, everyone, transformation is a choice, and you can choose today. Until next week, peace and blessings, everyone.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of In the Flow. If you enjoyed this programming, please help us spread this joy. Be sure and give this video a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. New Thought Media Network can be found on Facebook or our YouTube channel. Additional contributions are greatly appreciated at ntmedia.org/donate or find Rev Skip on PayPal and Venmo. Tune in on Fridays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 11 Mountain, when Rev Skip welcomes a new guest. Until then, faith, love, openness, and willingness keeps us in the flow.